Good evening, everybody. It is February 19th, 2022. It is a Saturday night here in downtown Miami. We're actually sitting right outside of the Freedom Tower. Yes, the Freedom Tower here in downtown Miami, overlooking the one and only FTX Arena. Now, I know we didn't stream yesterday, but the S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ all ended the week significantly lower. And as we talked about 2 weeks ago on that Monday, we did have a follow-through day. So that did justify some buying activity in the market. But now that follow-through day is definitely null and void. So it is a time to be raising cash and waiting for that new follow-through day. Hopefully we will get that sometime soon as the indices continue to sell off. You know, we are sitting well below the 200-day moving average across the board. A lot of the high beta growth tech stocks are still selling off in quite some fashion. We heard from the Federal Reserve, news from JP Chase that they are expecting the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates nearly 7 times this year. So we'll talk about that and more on tonight's stream. I see Sunshine After Rain says, hey Tom, good to see you. Good to see you too, Sunshine. Otto says, hi Tom, what's up Otto? Good to see you. Chris says, hey, was just thinking about you. Just thinking about you too, Chris. Good to see you. Happy Saturday, everybody. I see Bianca M. Sally is here. Jonathan Richards says, good Sunday evening, Tom. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you. So we're only going to be on for about 1 hour tonight. Going to be a quick stream. I see Shauno is here. The one and only Vinny Castellano. We see Savvy. Good to see you, Vinny Castellano. Charlie Richardson. Dante Rose. I see Alan Wilson says, hey everybody, I was wondering where you were. What's up, Alan? Good to see you. Carolina Tom says, good evening, Tom. Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend so far. It just stopped raining here in downtown Miami. Dante Rose says, stay safe, Tom. Thank you, Dante. You as well. Hey, Action Kid is here. Says, looks like the buses are running well there. Yeah, I mean, Action Kid, I mean, honestly, I haven't had any issues with public transportation here, contrary to what a lot of people were telling me, but everything has been pretty good. And as we can see here, oh, Action Kid and everybody, check this out, JQG Atlas. So the Paramount building is all lit up for President's Day, and it actually has Mount Rushmore on the top. At least I believe that's Mount Rushmore. So pretty cool looking. Dutchman is here. Oh wow, nice. We got a ride out going on. Hey, Falcon Space is here. What's up, Falcon Space? Vinny Castellanos has been spring cleaning all day with the wife. So have I. I've been doing a lot of cleaning at the house. Hey, Buy the Books says, enjoy the streams, Tom. Thanks, Buy the Book. Well, this is a nice surprise here. Wow, this is awesome. Hey, Ireva, it's good to see you. We see Carol H. What's up, Carol? Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far, Carol. Good to see you. Falcon Spades. We have Dutchman, Carolina Tom, and everybody. So good to see everybody. You know, boy, was it a busy week last week. Extremely busy. The stock market continues to get hammered. You know, the mainstream media is really blaming it on the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. But in my opinion, I really think that's a non-issue. I think the main, and I don't really want to call it issue, I want to call it a reality, is that, you know, the Federal Reserve is going to have to make a choice here. Because obviously we are in an election cycle, so a midterm election year. And it's not going to look good under Joe Biden if inflation continues to ramp into midterm elections. So what I believe, and this is just a supposition on my end, I think Biden is really going to pressure the Fed to not only raise interest rates, but to stop buying assets, right? So even though the Federal Reserve is virtue signaling to the market that they're going to taper and stop buying assets, If you look at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, we're seeing actually quite the contrary. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet is actually increasing, not decreasing. So I think there's going to be a day of reckoning or an inflection point where the Fed's going to have to raise rates. And I think the market is continuing to price that in. I mean, if you look at all of the very high beta growth stocks across the board, these valuations have pretty much been cut in half. A lot of the companies that were trading at ridiculous price to sales, price to earnings ratios, these things are down big. Hey, Lori E's here. Hey, Lori. Good to see you. Chris Beeman. Hope you're doing well. So, Chris, you have the day off. I remember you sent me a message there saying you had the weekend off, which is good. Give you some time to relax. Hey, we have Tanya S here. What's up, Tanya? Says, hey, Tom. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend. I am. So, to Vinny Castellano's point, I've been doing a lot of work around the house as well. I mowed the lawn today, and I was doing a lot of cleaning, some spring cleaning, so got a lot of stuff done. Hey, Fredex is here. Says, evening, Tom and Walkers. What's up, Fredex? Rosie is here. Says, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? Muy bien, ¿y tú, Rosie? We are out here overlooking the Paramount building. Hey, Bernard Friedman is here. Says, Miami looks good tonight. Hey, Bernard. Good to see you. Pacific Desert Raids is nice Saturday evening. It's good to see you guys. Yochevid says, hi, Tom. Robert Banker says, good evening. Cheers from Orlando, Florida. Awesome. Orlando in the house. Hey, Crystal Rose Farmer. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. I just saw that come across the stream here. So thank you. Matthew P says, hello, Tom, old chap. Good evening. Hey, Matthew. Apologize for the wind noise, everybody. It is another windy night. Brian says, hey, Tom, and everybody in chat. What's up, Brian? Whoa, I can't stop looking at this building here. So cool. Hey, Witness Girl says, come to Fort Lauderdale and do a live. Maybe I will. I think that's a good idea. Hey, Mana D says, happy Saturday evening, Tom, and chat. Hope all's well. Hey, Mana D, right back at you. Hope you have the weekend off. Susan Frelix says, God bless and good evening from Las Vegas. I actually should be in Las Vegas pretty soon. So we'll cross the street, and then we'll start to head towards Brickell. But I'll show you guys what 1000 Museum looks like from the other side of the street. Hey, Melee is here. Says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Good evening, Brian. Hey, Penelope's here. Says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Love the sunflower. What's up, Penelope? Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Very cool. Hope everything is well in Tennessee. EBITDA, the one and only, is here. Says, howdy, Tom. Hope you're having a nice, long weekend. Thank you, EBITDA. Yeah, so it is President's Day. So I believe pretty much everybody has off on Monday, I believe, right? I think it's a bank holiday. But EBITDA, we were just touching on briefly, because I couldn't stream yesterday. I was really, really hectic day yesterday. But we had really, really poor closes across the board in all the major indices. And we could pretty much say that the follow-through day that happened, I think it's 2 weeks ago now on Monday, is totally null and void. So now we raise cash and we wait for another follow-through day. And, we were having this conversation. A lot of the viewers of the stream on last stream were saying that we could potentially break the lows in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And maybe they're right. Maybe you guys are right. Well, I guess we'll definitely have to see. We got to keep our eye on that 10-year yield. We got to keep our eye on that 10-year yield and be ready for the next follow-through day. Hey, Q Business here says, good evening, Tom. The Paramount looks really cool with the President's Day there. Good to see you, Q Biz. Thanks for joining. So this is the main entrance of the FTX Arena right here in Miami. VM King says, wow, beautiful place. What's up, VM Kings? Hope you're well. Hey, Eyeglass Lady. Good evening and happy Saturday, Eyeglass Lady. Brody is here. Says here in Canada too. Welcome everybody from Canada. Yeah, Lori says, we missed you yesterday, Tom. I missed you guys too. John L says, you should get the mic fixed. So we don't have a mic, John, today, unfortunately. I still have to buy the dongle for the microphone. So check out the Paramount building all lit up for President's Day. VM King says, which country? We are in the United States, and we are in Wall Street. Tom, it is brutal. I put $200,000 in Bitcoin and Ethereum in an account as some play money. I went in when BTC was under 38,000 and ETH was low. Any idea for what's to come? I was expecting more. Yeah, I mean, clearly, so the biggest thing to look for in relation to Bitcoin that I think is very interesting is this massive divergence we're having between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and gold. You know, gold is actually outperforming. Gold actually cracked $1,900 for the first time in a very, very long time. So if you pull up the ticker symbol GLD, we were talking about this a couple streams ago, and go to a monthly chart, I mean, that is the most massive base pattern I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not one to buy gold, but if we crack new all-time record highs in gold, I think I'm gonna have to start a position because, you know, being a trend follower, you know, some big whale out there is has their eye on gold. But I do not own any gold right now. But Bitcoin is sitting well below its 200-day moving average and 50-day moving average, so I'm going to wait until, you know, price can find support above those key moving averages. Penelope says gold has been going up for some time. Christian Felix says the sky is cloudy. Hey, Mr. Lucas the dog says regards from Argentina. Welcome everybody from Argentina. What's up, Jerry Lily Ray says hope everybody is having a good evening. I am having a very good evening. Hey, Devon Avery is here. What's up, Devon? Oh, so everybody, we did surpass 500 people that are now subscribed to the Behind the Street newsletter. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been reading the newsletter. I've been getting some really, really good feedback, and there's a lot of new, exciting things to come. So thank you, everybody, for reading the free Behind the Street newsletter. And if you want to sign up, if you type !news, N-E-W-S in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter. Oh, we got the bikers coming down again. Let's check them out. Mike S says, Tom, I remember when gold was under 400 bucks. Oh my God. That's insane. Yeah, so now that gold is starting to break out, Peter Schiff should be coming out of the woodwork pretty soon, showboating. Kimberly says, do you like coffee or tea? Coffee, definitely more. Eyeglass Lady says, say, Tom, if Putin does not invade Ukraine, I nominate you for Secretary of Defense. Ah, thank you. You know, I won't take Secretary of Defense, but maybe I'll, you know, if I'm nominated for Fed Chair. What do you guys think? LaFresh Sinatra says, where do you buy gold? Would it be digital or an actual piece? So you can own physical gold from an actual dealer. So you could buy physical gold bullion. But I don't own any gold. I actually I think it's been about 2 months ago now. Wow, that's insane. I started very, very small, like nothing to even, even talk about, but a very, very small position in physical silver, buying just a little bit of physical silver, just as a hedge to this big debt bubble we have, but nothing to really talk about. Not a big position at all. Hey, Laytha's here. Says hello, Tom, and all in the chat. Hope you're well. What's up, Laytha? Happy Saturday. Emilio J says Fed chair under an Action Kit administration would be nice. Big improvement. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Robert is here. Good to see you, Robert. Abe Bless says remember to like this video. Appreciate it. Smash the like button, everybody. Carol Williams is here. Says good evening, everybody, on this YouTube live, watching from Antigua and Barbuda. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. Chris Beeman says, Tom, did you watch the vid with the police shooting that I sent you? I did not get a chance to. I did not, but I definitely will. So if anybody ever sends me Facebook links, I'm not going to be able to view it. I don't have a Facebook account, so I have to create one in order to see it. And that may be a little bit of a work in progress. LaFresh Sinatra says, thank you for the info. I'll give you guys one more look at the Freedom Tower here in downtown Miami. Lily Ray says, yes, Tom, for Fed chair. Daddy Bog is here. Jared Covey, what's up, Jared? Good to see you. Hey, Two Wheel Freedom says Facebook is dying, Zuckerberg losing billions. Yeah, so you make a good point. We actually dedicated an entire stream breaking down Facebook, and in their latest earnings report, it is the first time ever that average daily users actually fell at Facebook. But obviously, Mark Zuckerberg and the team are really trying to rebrand Facebook into Meta, right? So they're working on a lot of different applications for the metaverse, and we'll definitely have to see if they're successful or not. We'll have to see. But that stock has been getting absolutely hammered. I probably wouldn't be dip buying it, in my view. A lot of volume came out of that stock, and it's very possible that Facebook or Meta never makes a new all-time record high. It's very possible. Hey, Abe Blessed is here. Good to see you, Abe Blessed. Nick Nay, good to see you. Pacific Desert Raids, let's see how that goes. Yeah, so Daddy Bog says, Tom, did you hear about the helicopter crash in Miami Beach? I did. That is wild. I'm not sure if anybody died. I hope not. I hope everybody is okay. But there was a helicopter crash right here in Miami Beach today. It was an absolutely picture-perfect day today, but right at about maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, it started raining. Carolina Tom says, Tom, we are within 10% of the market bottom. We will find it in the next 2 weeks. I said 6 weeks ago to move into precious metals. Yeah, Carolina Tom, in all credit, Carolina Tom nailed that to the wall. And I think you're probably right. If you look up the futures contract of the NASDAQ 100, ticker symbol NQ, it's looking like we may crack the lows. And in the last edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, I wrote about all of the junk stocks always get sold first. So any of the high beta growth stocks that have no earnings or very little earnings, these are the stocks that get sold first. And then the last sort of soldiers to crack are the big mega cap tech stocks like your Metas, like your Apples, like your Alphabet. Those are the last stocks to get hammered. And when those start to roll over, that's when the bottom is getting very close. And that's when a lot of people start selling in mass and actually not buying the bottom. So interesting point you make there. Hey, our friend JL is here. Good evening, JL. I hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. RJ is here. Good to see you, RJ. EBITDA, good to see you, says Walks on Wall Street. I think it would be hilarious if the metaverse never takes off and it ends up being nothing more than a video game / social instrument vehicle. You know, it's very possible. It's very possible. Look, you know what? Speaking of those Oculus goggles, I actually saw somebody here with them on, but I just couldn't see it. I can't see that trend really taking off unless they reduce the size of that console, or if they don't reduce the size of the console, there needs to be some sort of thing like Elon Musk is working on, where they actually implant a chip into your skull, right? Or if there's some sort of technology where you could put on a contact lens in order to see things. I just don't see people actually walking around with that big headset on, or even using it a lot in their homes. But that's just me. I think you make a good point. Hey, Terry P says hello, Tom and everybody. What's up, Terry? We have the one and only Lady O. Happy Saturday, Lady O. Our moderator from New Jersey. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Photos from around New York. What's up? Says I haven't heard anyone using Meta. So I think that it is possible to have real applications in the metaverse for business use, but I don't think it's going to be a replacement as much as it will be a supplement to what we already have, if that makes sense. But look, I never like to count, the smartest people in the world and the smartest CEOs in the world. Very seldom do I like to bet against them, just like Elon Musk, Bezos. So, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll watch the market. NE says, Tom, my investment approach is currently just VT and chill in my brokerage account. Do you think I should invest in an S&P 500 ETF? VT and chill. Yeah, I mean, most people, just dollar cost average into a very, very low cost or no cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, or the Dow. I do that in my retirement account. So in my IRA, there's a portion of my income that I take that I just religiously buy every month, just dollar cost averaging into the S&P. So you could think about being like a Bogleite, so Jack Bogle, and he's really the pioneer in low-cost index funds. So I think it's a good idea. I definitely have a lot of my retirement funds allocated to that, because even if we have a massive drawdown in the stock market, and not just in terms of price, but we could also have a correction in terms of time where the market stays down for 10 years. Just look at the Japanese stock market. It's taken a decade to get back to where it's at now. Hey, Scott says, Tom, you're so articulate and intelligent. Considered another people business such as CIA. Considered going in the CIA? I have not. I do appreciate that. Hey, Joey is here. Good to see you, Joey. This is hi, Tom. What's up, Joey? Abe blesses you should invest 5 to 10% of your disposable income. Yogi says, is it always cloudy in Florida at night? It's a good question sometimes. But usually during the summer is when we get a lot of rain. So just to give you an example, it'll be totally beautiful sunshine in southern Florida, and then you'll have like maybe an hour to 2 hours of unbelievable rain, and then it clears up, and then it's fine. But I would say maybe, 35 to 50% of the time it's usually cloudy at night. Hey, we have the one and only Mark Davis. Says, good evening there, Tom. Hope all is well. with you. Hello from Niagara Falls. What's up, Mark? Mark Davis is our medical marijuana expert on the channel. We have somebody from Japan. Says, hello, my friend from Japan. Welcome, everybody that's watching from Japan. Laytha says, as a graduate of John Jay, I could see Tom having an interest in the CIA if the pay were better. Yeah, that is true. Well, I was going to be in the NYPD, but that sort of definitely wasn't what I wanted to do. After I stumbled into enterprise tech sales, I think the risk reward just didn't really pan out. Eyeglass Lady says, the bottom line here, Tom, is our government sorely needs someone with a business sense. I'll rephrase that, Eyeglass Lady. I agree with you, but I would say the bottom line here, Tom, is our government sorely needs someone with sense. Not just business sense, any sort of sense. Any sort of sense would be fine. And this is a criticism not only for Democrats, Republicans as well, by the way. You know, here on Walks on Wall Street, we dish it out to everybody evenly. But I agree with you. Hey, Solo's here. What's up, Solo? 401, good to see you. Yogi says, always like hearing your tech and business advice. Thank you, Yogi. Yeah, I mean, tech is a great career. And so one of the things that I think is a big misconception about tech, you know, everybody always says, oh, you know, I can't work in tech because I'm not technical. You know, I don't know how to code. I don't know Python, C++, Node, C#, any of those coding languages. And even though you probably should know and learn those sort of languages, but when you work at a tech company or even a startup, you know, they're not only looking for software engineers. They're looking for people in HR. They're looking for people that are recruiters. They're looking for marketers. They're looking for salespeople, you know, or engineers. So even though, let's say if you're selling software, you're selling software at a big tech company, you don't need to be, you know, a rock star software engineer. You just sort of need to know your way around, you know, the basic core concepts of computer science. But I've even seen some people that have no coding experience and don't know how to code at all kill it in enterprise tech sales. So, you know, don't let that deter you. If you don't have, you know, the coding skill set, you could still make a killing working at a tech company. You do not necessarily need to have software engineering experience. Roy S. says, I am not a tech guy. I just even found out the way to highlight others' names in the chat. Funny. Yeah, John says the helicopter crash, I saw it. That is true. Laytha says, our government needs is people with a constellation of healthy character traits, integrity, empathy for others. Yep. And intellectual curiosity. I agree. I agree. And he says, I have just given up on the U.S. government. How can you trust them with universal health care or anything that matters? I agree with you. I agree with you. Paranormal Witness Girl says, what about Dogecoin? Is it worth it? We don't really talk about those type of things on the channel. I find the vast majority of that to be rather nonsense. So we usually really don't talk about that stuff. I know other channels do, but I'm not. I think the vast majority of the alternative cryptocurrencies are either outright frauds or Ponzi schemes or something like that. So I would give that a big pass. Jerry says, I coded for 30 years and it really fries the brains. Oh my God. Good to see you, Jerry. QBiz says Python is gold if you can learn it. Yeah, I think especially if you're going to be going into data science. Ron says, Tom, your thoughts on why gold is up and silver dropped? I have no idea. I think it's just, you know, the classic flight to safety. And I think if you just, you know, the chart pattern does matter. So if you pull up a ticker symbol GLD, or if you even want to look at the futures, but I like to look at GLD, just a regular ETF. You know, check out how much of a massive base that is. It's like a 10-year cup and handle. And who knows, if inflation really ramps, you know, we just cracked 1900 on gold last week. And if inflation really ramps and, you know, gold breaks out to new all-time record highs, you know, I think I would probably buy it. But only if it breaks new all-time record highs. So this is the Metro Mover here in downtown Miami. Two Wheel Freedom says fear of the dollar devaluation. I agree with that. Yeah, so I definitely do agree with you about the dollar being devalued. But something interesting that I think we should take note of is that the US dollar is strong on a relative basis, right? When we're talking about relative strength. And what I mean about relative strength is the strength relative to other currencies across the globe, right? You know, and I know this is some people don't like when I give this example, but other inflationary currencies where their economies are in collapse, like the Turkish lira, the Argentinian currency, you know, a lot of those currencies relative to the US dollar are not doing well. So I think over the long term, the Swiss franc, the US dollar are probably going to continue to stay relatively stable in relation to other currencies. Hey, Michael says Jim Cramer has entered the chat. Penelope says silver has the highest electrical conductivity of all metals. Christian Felix says, Tom, have you ever heard of Brazilian oil company? I have not. Yogi says, don't get run over by security guard. Paul Blart there. Witness Girl says, Coursera offers free coding, Python, C++, and data science, AI intro classes for free. That they do. And also another good resource if you just want to try, you know, you're not going to be like a rock star coder from taking these sort of courses, but you're going to be able to understand your way around it. I would check out codeacademy.com. So codeacademy.com is a free website where you can go to learn, well, pretty much exactly what the website says, learn coding skills. I think I've taken almost every single one of their Python courses, which they're pretty good, you know, for basic beginner level CS skills, right? And I think that's pretty good to have that information there. So if you want to learn, you know, if you want to just be dangerous, know enough to be dangerous, I think those courses are really worth it, mainly because they're free and then you're learning something new. John L says commodities ETF DBC, great chart. You know, John, let me take a screenshot of that. Oh, John L, also, by the way, thank you for all of the great emails you've been sharing with me. I appreciate that. Hey, DWG is here. Good to see you. Gerard Vincent says Code Academy is good. Hey, Gerard. Gerard's joining us from the one and only Vegas, Las Vegas. Tony Lagos is here. What's going on from Australia, Tony? Good to see you. Gregory says Code Academy is decent. Yeah, if you want to just learn enough to be dangerous, I think it's fine. Hey, Dixon says good night, everybody. Disciple 481, it's good to see you. Hey, Abdullah is here. Says, hey, Tom, been a while. It's 5 a.m. here. Good to see you, Abdullah. So we are on US Biscayne 1. We are headed down towards the river walk, and then we'll walk over the bridge. So just to give you guys a forewarning, my gimbal may die. So if the gimbal goes out, we will have to migrate over to the Twitch stream. Horatio Snipes is here. Says, do you work out, Tom? How many push-ups can you do? I work out, I do, but I mainly run. I'm mainly a runner. So I very seldom do I lift free weights. I'm a big runner though. I love running. marathon runner. Hey, parking full time says learning things is good. You use 0% of what you don't know. Love that. Roy S. says, Tom, thanks for the latest newsletter. Many interesting scenarios connected to the impact of the Ukraine situation. Hey, Roy S., thank you for reading the newsletter. Yeah, and Roy, the reason why I sent out that special update of the Behind the Street newsletter is because, you know, everybody's talking about this Russia-Ukraine situation. So I wanted to sort of give an idea of what markets did, you know, in previous times when we launched a massive invasion of something or war broke out. And I really outlined Operation Desert Storm in 1991. And if you remember correctly, a lot of people on this chat probably actually remember, you know, being maybe a teenager or a little kid during that time. I don't know, but you guys probably remember it. The United States government was ordering, I think, over 40,000 body bags. And they thought we were going to suffer massive, massive casualties in Operation Desert Storm. The fear was so thick. But something that's interesting is that on January 16th, 1991, the day the United States government launched Operation Desert Storm, the market actually hit a massive follow-through day, rallied 4%, and went on to go gangbusters into the end of the year, 22% gain for the S&P 500. And that started one of the most ferocious bull markets we've ever seen in U.S. history. So if you guys want to check out that article, if you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, you could punch in your email and get it for free, Behind the Street newsletter. Witness girl, I'm not sure. I can't say. Latha says, war makes money, sadly. Bob Droll says, what Ukraine situation? According to Tom, there is no situation. Fake news, Tom said. Yeah, I really don't think that Russia is going to invade Ukraine. Abdullah says, but Desert Storm has totally different players, Tom. No, totally agree. All I was trying to outline in that article is just to show you some examples in history how markets performed during times of war. I know there's totally different parameters, totally different situation, totally different everything, totally understand. But I was just trying to draw some sort of similarities in wartime. But yeah, my personal view on the Russia-Ukraine situation is I think there's something very fishy going on. And I actually think it could potentially be just an excuse for countries to borrow more money to buy military supplies and then further stimulate their economies. Because, you know, according to, you know, the US government that's putting out all this data, they're saying that Russia is going to invade Ukraine on a specific date and a specific time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, does that make sense? Like, if you were Russia, if you were Vladimir Putin, would you be telegraphing to the United States the exact date and time that they would invade a country? I mean, does that sound normal to you? Does that not sound fishy? It sounds fishy to me. Look, I could be totally wrong. I'm not an expert on foreign policy, but I just think there's something pretty fishy about it. Even though, you know, the Ukrainian government says we don't suspect that the Russians are going to invade. And the Russians said we will not invade and there's no plans to invade. But the United States government is saying, oh yeah, they're going to invade on this date and this time. I mean, it just feels a little fishy to me. Bob Droll says, have you considered American press releases are designed to discourage invasion? Bob, that's actually that's an awesome point. I never thought about that. Hold on, let me go back to that comment. That was very intriguing to me, actually. Bob Droll says, Tom, have you considered American press releases are designed to discourage invasion? Interesting. I have never thought about it like that. And I'm glad you said that, because I see your point. Yeah, so if Biden or the Secretary of Defense says, oh, Russia's going to invade, they're going to invade, they're going to invade, so you're saying that could discourage the actual country from doing so? Perhaps. Interesting. Eyeglass Lady says maybe it's a distraction to deflect from something else. Lily Ray says Russia is messing with us. Roberta says he's exactly right. Ireva says interesting thought. Michael Johnson says, hi Tom, the Ukraine has the best rocket propulsion engineers. We collaborate with them often. Wow. That's awesome, Michael. Antonio says Russia lose the war. They do not think. Roberta says, are you a Fox News guy? Do I work for Fox News? I do not. SCGT says there's constraints for invasion due to weather. Interesting. Look, I think the bottom line is, and nobody wants war anyway, right? What would be the advantageous thing for Russia to invade Ukraine? All good points in the chat. All good points. Roberta, are you a Fox News gal? I'll ask the question right back to you. Cola says, Tom, they're invading all right. Ron says, it has been a trend over many years when things are bad at home, draw attention overseas, says Ron. Stephanie says, hi, good evening. Witness Girl says, is Robinhood a good app to put your money in? I would not. I do not. I'm really not a big fan of Robinhood. I think their marketing practices are unethical, in my view. I think they try to gamify trading and investing. And I think that leads to a lot of not so healthy investing behaviors. So I don't align with the company in terms of ethics. Enough Experts says it looks beautiful. Miami looks beautiful. Thank you. Miami is beautiful. Hope you're enjoying it. Carolina Tom says, Tom, you want to be in high yielding dividend ETFs for a nice return. Everything else will be sideways for quite a while. Yeah, Carolina Tom, I think I agree with you. You know, during times of inflation, it's definitely best to own big blue chip companies with pricing power. Because essentially what corporations are going to continue to do and try to do is offset their cost increases to consumers, right? So we've seen many companies out there actually raise prices, and in some cases they've actually expanded their profit margins. So I think it's best to own those stocks and own those companies that have that name brand, that people are willing to pay more for it. It's called pricing power. So I think you make a good point, Carolina Tom. Hey, Carlos Cruz says, hello, love your channel. It's very informative. Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for being here. Hey, War Walker says, so humid and uncomfortable. Good to see you, War Walker. Let me see if I missed any comments. Juan says viruses plus financial woes plus war. Mike S says high oil prices help Russia. Yeah, unfortunately it does. Unfortunately it does. We used to be energy independent, but no longer. Karina Thompson is here. Hey, Karina. So this is the very beautiful Aston Martin building here in downtown Miami. Somebody says, hey there from India, how's it going? It's going really good. It's going really well. Hey, Marty Lewis is here. Says hello, Tom and everybody. It's 28 degrees tonight in Manhattan. Wow. Yeah, Marty, that's a little bit too cold for me. That is extremely cold. But the last comment I'll make on the Russia-Ukraine situation is that there's a lot of people in the chat tonight that have differing opinions on it, that I'm intrigued, and I respect every single one of the opinions. So thank you all for sharing. Abdullah says, I hope the Ukraine situation ends soon with no wars, but war is unpredictable. Some wars start with illogical reasons. It sounds pessimistic. You know, I think that's, Abdullah, I think you're 100% right. Nobody wants war. That is definitely terrible. Hey, Karina, good to see you. Bob Droll says, Tom, you're opinionated but fair and always civil. As someone who's always too quick to pounce, I could learn a lot from you. No, Bob, look, I mean, the thing is, I don't have all the answers. What I try to do is I try to collect as much data as possible. And I have a teeny background in data science, and that's what they teach you in data science, is to collect as much data as possible so you can make an informed decision. So I'm open to hearing all sorts of theories and ideas about this Russia-Ukraine situation, because at the end of the day, I'm not an expert in foreign policy. I just think something sounds fishy. But there's definitely a lot more people with a lot more expertise than I have, and I'm definitely welcoming of all their opinions. So thank you for joining. War Walker, what's up, man? Good to see you. So War Walker, were you down by Miami Beach tonight, or earlier this evening, I should say, when the helicopter crashed? Horrible. Does anybody know if anybody died in that? I briefly saw it. I actually think somebody in the chat sent it to me on my IG. It may have been Disney cast member, but hopefully nobody got severely injured or killed in that. Yeah, but I couldn't believe it when I saw it. There was a helicopter. Dana Thompson says, we are in the 21st century. Taking over other countries for gains is ridiculous. Agreed. Marcus Banks says, Tom, I think it was just injuries. Well, thank God. I mean, thank God that there was no... Mark Saints says, I find it interesting that in '91, the first attacks in the Gulf War were broadcast live. So somehow the government gave our media a heads up for some reason, says Mark. Yeah, so Mark, you make an interesting point. I think the Gulf War was the first war where there was actually live broadcasters or live newscasters on the ground of the battlefield. So pretty interesting to say the least. Hey, Zane is here, says they are taking over because they don't want Ukraine to join NATO or the United Nations. This is Zane. So Zane, you know what's interesting? So right before I started the stream, like literally the second before, I got a Bloomberg notification, and it was talking about something about Boris Johnson came up and gave. I'm not sure if he gave a speech or he was just signaling to the market that Russia is supposedly preparing for the largest war since World War II. Supposedly that's what Boris Johnson said. I got a little notification right before I started the stream. So when I stop streaming, I'm going to read that article for sure. Bob Droll says, is this a typical Saturday night for this area? Yeah, so Bob, where we just were was downtown Miami, so there's very, very few people. Most of the people hang out right over this bridge, which is going to be like Brickell or Mary Brickell Village. But this is mainly, you know, I would say after 7 o'clock, it's usually dead in the area we just were. We're walking past the Wells Fargo Center. and then we are going to pass the very famous Marriott. Hey, Ken is here. Says hello, Tom. Good evening. What's up, Ken? Bob says, okay, I actually live in Miami. Beat to the burbs. Nice. Yeah, I just moved here about maybe 3 months ago. I'm liking it so far. I really enjoy it. Here's a Tesla. Very nice. Photos from around New York says there is a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to the current crisis between Russia and the Ukraine. Lori E says the hard part is we don't know. Oh, Joe, thank you for that. The helicopter crash link. John Ellis' average monthly income, $3,400. Ken Kramer says military industrial complex is alive and well. These politicians love war. They make money off of it. Sad to say that corruption is bad, plain and simple. I'm going to have to agree with that. So I think what's even more egregious than the military industrial complex is the prison industrial complex, the private prison system here in the United States. If you ever do some research into that, that is really egregious. So I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice, where I studied that extensively. And it's definitely a very, very sociopathic system. I don't think there should be free market capitalism in correction and criminal justice markets, if that makes sense. And you guys know I'm a total free market capitalist, but I don't think you should have incentivization systems when it comes to taking people's freedoms away in terms of putting them in jail and things like that. That I don't really agree with. I think that is quite bizarre, but that's just my view on it. Bob Droll says prison profiteering is a disgrace. Yeah, I agree. It's horrible. Witness Girl says, what investing app is good? So I don't really use any of those sort of discount, like Robinhood or Webull. I use Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab. Hey, Abdullah, thank you so much for the 25 donation, Abdullah. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. And good to see you again. Long time no see, Abdullah, so thank you so much. Layla says, Tom, Denmark has a very savvy rehabilitation system for criminals. They are so far ahead of us, it's embarrassing. Roberta says, totally agree. Sabrina Fair, hey, Sabrina, what's up? Says, hi, Tommy, hello, friends. What's up, Sabrina? Happy Saturday to you. Chris L says, the whole idea is to not end up in them, says Chris L. Good point. Hey, Pierre Kirby, especially when judges have found in conflict of interest in the prison system. Yeah, I mean, if we go down that whole rabbit hole, I mean, I've taken courses on it, and it's really wild what goes on. Hey, Shop by Scott is in the house. What's up, Tom? What's up, Walks in Wall Street fam? What is up, Scott? So, Scott, I'm not sure if you just joined, but do you have any info on that helicopter crash? Hey, Humane, what's going on? So it looks like the wind finally let up. I think it's just about to pick up very soon. Jared Kobe says the Gulf War had the introduction of smart weapons. Night airstrikes were broadcast in the United States. Yeah, Jared, you're spot on. Mike S. says, listen to your mother and stay out of trouble. Abdullah says, thank you for your great discussions. Thank you for being here, Abdullah. If you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're about to walk over the bridge here. So just let me get the light. I want to make sure I'm not gonna get hit by a car here. Hey, Edson is here. What's up, Edson? Hope you're well. Hey, Craft T Escape says, I had a friend that is in the FBI, and he said all the time that war is good for the economy. Yep. Especially good for those defense stocks, right? So if you think about Northrop Grumman, what's another one? I'm blanking on the name, but you guys know in the chat. So a lot of like the defense stocks, Lockheed Martin is another one. So I think EBITDA actually shared with us a pair trade that he put on. And EBITDA is actually, speaking of Bank of America, EBITDA is actually, I believe, an investment banking associate or VP at Bank of America. And he put on an interesting pair trade. Yeah, Roberta, you're right. So Roberta Carmel says Boeing. Hey, Antonio says Russia is making use of money. Interesting. Yeah, so the interesting thing is that, you know, Russia's making a lot of money right now. But it really didn't have to be that way. I mean, the United States was energy independent, and I understand that we want to, you know, have a lot of green energy and stuff like that. But with all of these new regulations that are put into place, it actually makes liquid natural gas more expensive. So the funny thing is, the United States is actually producing more coal now than it has in the last 20 years. Just because it's cheaper, because of all the regulations. So all of this green stuff is backfired. You have to do it gradually. If you just cut it off at the neck, you're not going to get the desired result. So we're actually burning more coal in the United States now than before all of this green stuff went into effect. And you guys know me, and we've dedicated entire streams to this. I'm probably the biggest advocate for clean and green energy going. But we need to do it the right way. And I think politicians tend to screw everything up. Vinny Castellano, hopefully you are well in Staten Island. Say hello to your wife for me. Hope she's having a great weekend. Thank you for joining Vinny Castellano and family. Anthony Jones says they blew up the cars for insurance reasons. Running at altitude says 82% of consumers are paying above MSRP for a new vehicle last year. It was just 2% above MSRP. Sabrina Ferris says, what a shot. Good to see you, Sabrina. Christian Felix's drawbridge coming soon. Zane says, I wish more Americans would educate on these subjects. Hey, what's up, Ken Kramer? Bob Droll says, do you aspire to live in one of those high-rise condos, or do you prefer living in single family? That's a good question, actually. I think in Manhattan, I'd probably want to live in a high-rise, but in a place like Miami, I think I would say maybe multifamily unit if I own it and rent out the other units, or single family is the best, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd want to live in a high-rise in Miami. But in New York, 100%, yeah. Hey, Steve from Buffalo's here. What's up, Steve? This is Tom. It's a cold Buffalo, 21 degrees. What's the temperature there? Oh, it was a beautiful day today. I think it was about 80 degrees, bright sunshine. But I think at about 6:30 or 7, it started to rain. But it only rained for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, cooled things off a little bit. It is a tad bit humid, but as you guys know, I am pretty strange, so I actually like the humidity. As weird as that sounds. War Walkers has filmed the harvest moon, Tom. War Walker, did you see the moon yesterday? The moon yesterday was unreal. I've never seen something like that in my life. So this is the W Hotel. You can see the faces in the building here. But I'll show you I think this is the new Aston Martin building. This is the moon was amazing yesterday. John Ellis, Tom, got a great way or talking and conversing, great future. Thank you, John L. Shot by Scott says today was a great taste of what's to come in April and May. Yeah, I mean, Scott, a lot of people were complaining about it. I love that type of weather. I don't know why, but I love it crazy hot and humid. I don't know why. I like it like that. Ooh, they got in an accident. That's not fun. Good to see you, Ken Kramer. Good to see you, Jerry. Jerry says, I'm waiting for Airbnb yachts. Quick lap around the Riverwalk here. And I'll show everybody Bank of America Tower here in Brickell, which is the financial district. Yeah, so I think it was Nadine that made that point. So green energy is not entirely green, speaking about the EVs. Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot of rare earths that go into making these batteries, right? So the mining operations oftentimes are not clean. But, you know, I think here's what I'm very optimistic on for the future. I'm very optimistic on new nuclear technologies. Because the biggest problem with nuclear right now is the hazard risk of another like Chernobyl meltdown. But there's actually new and emerging technologies coming out right now with nuclear energy that prevents reactors from melting down. And if that can be accomplished, you know, nuclear energy is the cleanest zero emission, and that's really going to help with the environment. Look, at the end of the day, I'm extremely optimistic because we have the smartest people, not only in the United States, but in the entire world working on this issue of climate change, you know, non-renewable energies. We have the smartest people in the world working on it. I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right. I mean, Elon Musk alone, I think we're going to be all right. Sabrina Fair, good to see you. Daddy Boggs says that was crazy. 4,000 luxury cars on the cargo ship that caught on fire. Hey, Rue says, touch the like button. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video. Yeah, Jared Covey says smaller, smarter nuclear. Good to see you, Jared. Chris says, Tom, come to AZ during a monsoon. It is humid and 115 degrees. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that. Yeah, so I hear a lot of people talking about in the chat that cargo ship that caught on fire with a lot of those VW cars in the Porsche. You know, and it's crazy, just in time for this massive global supply chain and car shortage that has to happen. So that's definitely not going to help the situation at all. Hey, Marcus Banks. What's up, Marcus? Good to see you, my friend. This is, I had to read an article from the Wall Street Journal about how the Atlanta metropolitan area, which I am from, had the highest inflation rate of 9.8% at the end of 2021, the highest in the nation. Marcus, I'm actually intrigued by that. And if you could find the article and post it in the chat, I would like to read that, actually. Did it say why Atlanta specifically had the highest inflation rate? I would think somewhere in like middle America, one of those flyover states would have the highest inflation rate, in my view. Interesting why it's Atlanta. Huh. Yeah, Marcus, if you have the link to that article and you want to drop it in the chat, I would appreciate it. Juan Antonio Suarez is 115 degrees. Yeah, I don't know how well I would hold up in that environment. So it doesn't look like there's any dolphins or manatees tonight, unfortunately. Hey, Al Baker says, how about nuclear waste? How do we treat that? That's also another big problem, Al. Christopher says, listening to the stream while driving. Well, Christopher, I appreciate it. I am very, very flattered. I'm happy you're here, but please be safe. Please be safe, my friend. We want you safe and sound. Oh, well, I guess if you're just listening, you're good. So, Chris, big ups to you. Hope you're having a good weekend, Chris. I think the only other city that I like in terms of if I were to purchase real estate, probably Denver. I'm very interested in Denver, Colorado. You know, there's a lot of tech startups that are going to Colorado. One in particular that I'm interested in, it's a company called Ping Identity. And this isn't, I'm not talking about, oh, you should buy the stock. I'm just talking about the company. I like their technology. Ping Identity, it was actually taken public by Vista Equity Partners. And we've done a whole stream on Vista Equity Partners. But they specialize in identity and access management software, or IAM. So the competitors you could think about, like in Okta. So Okta is another company that does like the identity and access management software. Very, very good company. Very interested in that company. Photos from around New York says lower downtown in Denver, I hear, is nice. Yeah, I mean, I've never been there, photos from around New York, but I'd like to visit for sure. Yeah, Bob's like reggaeton in Miami, you can't escape it. Marcus Banks says Atlanta inflation rate was higher than San Francisco's, which only had 4.2% inflation that year. That shocked me. Christian Felix says, have you ever been to Philadelphia? I want to go, and I may have to go very soon. Karina Thompson, how are you? Is the Swan here? Good to see the Swan. Hey, Carolina Tom says, Tom, you should stream from the Hollywood Boardwalk. It's a great place, not too far from where you are. You know, we may have to do that one night. We may do that one night. That's a good idea. Hey, Juan Antonio Suarez is Philly in the house. What's up? Good to see you. So we're overlooking the W Hotel here in downtown Miami. Marcus says everybody needs to stop moving to Atlanta. So Marcus, one of my really good buddies, well, I shouldn't say really good buddies. He's an acquaintance of mine. He moved to Atlanta, and he said the infrastructure there is the best in the country. You know, you go to New York, you drive a car on Long Island, New York, and it's like, you know, the potholes are everywhere. It's like you're driving the streets of Ramadi. But in Atlanta, beautiful. I don't understand how they keep their infrastructure so nice. You know, and with all the tax dollars and the revenue that, you know, we pay on Long Island, you know, I'm a native Long Islander myself. You know, the roads and the infrastructure should be great, but they are unfortunately not. So this is the Cipriani here in Miami. We always walk past the Cipriani on Wall Street. Robertus' snow and ice makes potholes. Pacific Desert raises Miami looks so clean compared to New York. Sabrina Ferris' St. Petersburg, Florida stream. Perhaps. Maybe we'll do that, St. Petersburg. Marcus Banks' Atlanta is famous for potholes. Wow, interesting. Q-Biz says, I live in Atlanta and I love it, and that's true about the infrastructure. I guess I'll have to go and see for myself then. I'll have to go see for myself. Yeah, Layla, maybe you're right. Perhaps you're right. Sabrina Ferris, my husband is making Alexa swear. Steve Buffalo says, Tom, did you see the accelerating growth in Atlassian's cloud business? I did. Yeah, so Steve, we covered Atlassian's ER in depth. So what Steve is talking about is, what Atlassian is doing is they're turning down and they're not supporting any of the on-premise. Oh, hold on, somebody is trying to call me here. On-premise cloud infrastructure, and what they're doing is they're trying to migrate all of their customers over to the cloud, because when they migrate all their customers over to the cloud, now those customers are more sticky, so it increases the retention, and now it is on a pure play SaaS business model or an as a service. So you could just think about subscriptions, right? So they're paying a bill every single month as opposed to, regularly scheduled maintenance on things and such. But many of Atlassian's clients still operate in a hybrid cloud environment. So a hybrid cloud environment is, you don't have all of your infrastructure in the cloud and you don't have all of it on premise. It's sort of like a mix. It's a hybrid environment. But Atlassian's a good company. It's actually an Australian software company, for all of our Australian viewers in the chat. And the CEO actually has some really good interviews online. The CEO is Michael Cannon-Brooks. And Atlassian is very well known for their Jira and Confluence softwares. One of us is the Mandarin Oriental, and there's actually one right in the former Time Warner Center, which is now the Deutsche Bank Tower. Hey, Vinny Castellanos says, have a blessed rest of your evening, Tom and everybody. Hey, Vinny, right back at you, man. Have a good Sunday. Thank you for joining, Vinny Castellano. Hey, Zane says, amazing how I'm watching from the other side of the world. Yeah, it's insane. We definitely have a lot of people from a lot of different countries on the stream, which is amazing. Daddy Bog says, do you go to the Hard Rock at all? I don't. I've never been. Hey, Chris Hayes is here. Good to see you, Chris. So maybe we'll have enough time to go to Mary Brickell Village. We'll see. ATL Spotter says, Tom, I live in Atlanta and the traffic is crazy. The growth is unreal. So for the people who live in Atlanta, it looks like we have a lot of people who are from Atlanta in the chat. What do you think is one reason why a lot of people are moving to Atlanta? Why are people moving to Georgia, do you think? Because I don't know. I haven't been there. I've never been there. Chris says, best beer in the world. Hey, Maria Castellano. Hey, Maria. Says hello, Tom and Sunshine After Rain and Lady O. Hope you're all having an amazing good night. I've been baking here. Had a big order, but wanted to hop on and say hello. Hey, Maria Castellano. Well, good luck with your order and enjoy your weekend. At least try to enjoy your weekend. Marcus Banks says the cost of living is way cheaper. Yes, so Marcus, speaking of cost of living, I actually, to your point, I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal, and I think somebody in the chat sent it to me, that now Miami is the most expensive place to live, beating out New York and San Francisco. So as crazy as that sounds, Miami's cost of living is actually higher now. Abe blesses, and it's also a very suitable climate. Yeah, in Atlanta, you still get all the seasons, right? But it's not like you're going to get the crazy snow that we have in New York. Marcus Banks says a lot of Northerners are moving here. I am from New Jersey, and it's way cheaper. Oh, yeah, I could imagine that. Yeah, Jersey, I think Jersey has some of the highest property taxes in the United States, I believe. Almost as bad as Long Island, New York. Yeah, San Francisco is crazy expensive. I was actually going to, I wasn't going to, but I had a job offer right out of school to work in San Francisco. And thank God I didn't take it. So we're walking through a very dark park here, everybody, so just bear with us. Very, very little light, if any. Hey, TJM says I'm in Myrtle Beach, and we are having a lot of people from the north move here. Daddy Boggs says Long Island taxes are unreal. Glad I'm in Florida. Yeah, so you know what? I think what are my property taxes? I think right around 4,300 to 4,500, I want to say. I just paid it. Lay this is wow, so peaceful. Hey, Lena Sandoval's here. Hey, Lena. Good to see you. I'll give everybody a last look at the W Hotel. Yeah, photos from around New York makes a really good point. So a lot of people are moving to the Sun Belt. Also another crazy hot housing market over this past year was parts of Arizona, more specifically Phoenix, Arizona. And there's actually a lot of chip manufacturers, or I should say fabricators or chip fabs opening up in Arizona. And that's why Arizona actually is one of the most water conservative states in America, because they have to have extremely, extremely high-tech water treatment facilities on site at a lot of these chip fabricator plants. Hey, Jonathan Francis. Hey, good evening, Tom. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you. Daddy Box, people on Long Island, New York are paying $15,000 to $20,000. That's money out the window every year, I know. Tell me about it. XR says the Russian army has already entered Ukraine. Is that true? I hope not. That's horrible. Hey, Disney cast member, what's up? This is Phoenix Sucks. What's up, Disney? to see a Disney cast member. Hope all is well in upstate New York. Hope it's not too cold there. Maria Castellano says, I wish there was a way to send you guys some pictures of my baked goods. Maria, if you want to send me an email, the link in the description has my email address. Feel free to send them and I'll share them with everybody. Disney cast member says, had my first Snow sequel today and loved it. Hey Ken, this is Tom. What's up, man? What's up, Kenneth? Hope you're well. Hey Lee, what's up, Lee? Let me see Lee. Lee says, evening Tom, shout out for my city. My friend Cindy. Oh, hey. Good to see you, Cindy. Hope you're well. Lee, thank you for all the help. I sent you an email, Lee, so I appreciate all the help. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, so as you guys know, on the weekends, we usually don't have a topic for the stream, but during the beginning of the stream, you know, we just did a brief overview. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all falling further under pressure, you know, thus invalidating that follow-through day. And a lot of the mainstream media, like CNBC broadcasters, are really blaming this market pressure on the Ukraine-Russia situation, but I really think the main culprit of the stock market sell-off is the Federal Reserve. And the reason I think that is because we are in a midterm election cycle, and I think that President Joe Biden is going to be putting a lot, and I mean a lot of pressure on Fed Chair Jerome Powell to really get inflation under control. And so what does that mean? That means the Federal Reserve is probably going to almost 100% guaranteed need to raise interest rates at least probably 50 basis points come March. So I think the markets are trying to price that into the market. You know, we've seen a lot of these high beta growth stocks that have very little earnings, very little sales, really get clocked, really get hammered here. A lot of their valuations have been cut in half. If we look at like a price to earnings, a price to sales multiple, a lot of these multiples have come down almost in half. Well, check out Mary Brickell Village here. Beautiful. Disney cast member, what is going on? Says, I'm trying to get my stragglers kids to leave Arizona ASAP. Yeah, Disney cast member is back in New York now. Kenneth is beautiful there. Good to see you. Hey, Paul Stein says, hi, Tom. I think people are worried that Powell is going to overshoot interest rate increases. Yeah, I think so too. So one of the things that I want to write about, Paul, this week in the Behind the Street newsletter is I'm really going to cover the tips. Because the tips market is really signaling that the Federal Reserve is overblowing this inflation and that inflation is going to be transitory. So it's really interesting how this is going to play out. But then again, you know, if you look at gold, last week we just cracked 1900 on gold for the first time in a really long time. So I will be sending out the Behind the Street newsletter to everybody, either on Sunday night or early Monday. So if you want to sign up to receive the free financial newsletter, if you type !NEWS or news in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where you could sign up. James says, I see big trouble for the Fed when they start quantitative tightening QT, raising rates and doing QT at the same time. Takes money out of the system. Time will tell. Yeah, James, so there's an interesting thing about that, right? And here's the one thing I'll say. There's so much money circulating around in the system. What I pay attention to is the money velocity, which is, obviously the rate at which cash circulates. Velocity is still at all-time lows, right? So I would actually argue there's too much money in the system, and people, if you look at money velocity, I think I forget her name, but I think she may have been like a managing director. I'm gonna find the CNBC interview and link it in the newsletter, but it's really just all about money velocity. But what I think is that people are really worried about interest rates. And if we think about a lot of the Russell 2000 stocks, which are a lot of the small cap stocks in the United States or small cap companies, a lot of them are unprofitable, or nearly all of them. I think 2/3 of all companies in the Russell 2000 are not profitable. So what this means is that they are effectively zombie companies. And what zombie companies means is that they can just barely make the payments on their debt obligations. So as interest rates go up, it's going to be harder and harder for these zombie companies to service their debts, right? So that's the main thing that I'm concerned about, is I think a lot of these mega cap technology stocks, I think a lot of the consumer staples, your Walmarts, things like that, I think those will be okay and will be able to survive a recession. But a lot of the smaller cap stocks, or the quote-unquote zombie companies that are not profitable, those are going to have a hard time. Those are going to have a really, really hard time. If not, they just go outright out of business. So I think you make a good point. Definitely interest rate environment is a big worry. But that 10-year yield, we cracked 2% on the 10-year U.S. Treasury. But so long as it's not spiraling out of control, I think we are going to be having a dip buying opportunity relatively soon here. But as we've always said, we just need to wait for a follow-through day. Hey, Daddy Boggs says, have a safe evening. Thanks for the walk. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Look at all these cops on the bicycles right here. Hey, Maria Castellanos says, I sent them to your email. Thank you. I'm definitely going to share them. Ken Kramer says, the Fed created this inflation issue. Global central banks will keep printing money. Yeah, as we like to say, the inflation creation machine, right, Ken? Mikey Handel says, chips. Chris Ellis says, when I lived in horrible. Yeah, Long Island drinking water is horrible too. Hey, Mark says, I agree, Tom. It's too easy to forget how much money was pumped into the system, which at some point needs to be taken back out to stay financially healthy. Jonathan Richards says, I don't trust Jerome Powell. Good to see you, Jonathan. Mark Saint, good to see you again. Long time no see. All right, let's try to cross the street with all these guys. So I think the battery's running a little low, so we're not going to have time to walk all the way down the financial district here. So we'll just make the loop back over the bridge. Hey, Sunshine, New York. What's up, sunshine? Hope you're having a good weekend so far. We're here in your favorite place in downtown Miami, or I guess you could say Brickell now. Good to see you, Sunshine, New York. One of our great moderators. So this is 801 Brickell. Clarence Jackson says, Tom, what goes up must come down. Agreed. James Tiger says, Tom, well, if the Fed keeps printing money, gas will be $7 to $10. Yep. DWG says transitory has a different meaning in time. Egan says, hello, Tom. Hope you are fine. Beautiful evening. Hey, Egan. Good to see you. All right, let's see what we could do here. So we are on Southeast 8th Street. I was about to say St. Mark's Place for some reason. I'm having a flashback to being in New York City. Hey, NMB045, what's up? Says, hi, Tom. I drove 6 hours from Montreal to Toronto today in the snow. Wow. NMB045, good to see you. Wow, dozens of truckers in the slippery conditions. Dude, you gotta be safe. Be safe, NMB045, please. Hey, Neil is here, says, hey Tom, I missed the 24/7 skateboarding stream. So Neil, that's coming back very, very soon, the 24/7 skateboarding stream, but I want to shoot some new footage for it. So I want to shoot some new footage, but that will be back up very soon. But good to see you, Neil. Hey, 2.0 says, just left Miami Wednesday. Hope I don't get a toll ticket. I hope you don't too. So I think the only thing that's worse than Long Island, New York traffic lights could potentially be Miami, Florida traffic lights. Perhaps a 25 to 30 minute light. We'll walk this way and down. Hey, the one and only Noah Joseph, dude. What's going on? Noah says, what's up, Tom? Noah, did you get, have you landed in New York yet or not? I forget. I'm not sure if you were gonna arrive in February or not. But if you've arrived to New York, welcome to New York, my friend. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hey, Francisco GM says, hi, Tom from Chile. Greetings to you, welcome. So it's interesting, we actually have a lot of viewers from Chile, a lot of Chilean viewers. So thank you everybody from Chile. Maria Castellano says, I don't know, Tom, Staten Island has horrible traffic lights too. Ah, Noah Joseph says, March 6th is the first week I head out. Dude, awesome. You know, it's probably best to still stay in California during the winter. You know, March it's actually not bad. March is not too horrendous. March is definitely not too horrendous in New York. It just rains a lot and it's cloudy. Hey, Francisco GM says, we love you too, Tom. Thank you, Francisco GM. Sunshine After Rain says, welcome from Chile. Running at Altitude says, love Arizona for its weather, natural beauty, and renowned national parks. Yeah, I mean, and there's also a lot of semiconductor chip fabs in Arizona. Disney cast member, do you have any recommendation? I know we were briefly going back and forth on the type of stones that I was going to use to outline those pavers. So I definitely want a darker colored stone to put on the perimeter there. I feel as if I get the white stones, it's just gonna get so dirty. I just want something I can leave there, set it, and forget it. So if you have any recommendations. Hey, Leo says, hola, saludos from Uruguay. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome everybody from Uruguay. XXX, the one and only, says, hello, Tom, everybody in beautiful Miami. It is a sad day for Canada when Adolphe Trudeau declared emergency act over peaceful protesters. We are officially under martial law, says XXX. Yeah, XXX, I definitely don't agree with that at all about Trudeau enacting the emergency act. And you know what was even more disturbing, and I don't really want to get too political, but I was listening to the Ottawa police chief talking, and it was so disturbing. He's like, every single person that attended one of these protests, he's like, we are going to come after you with sanctions and everything. I'm like, guys, these guys are protesters. Like, so you're essentially saying you're not allowed to protest at all. It doesn't matter if you agree with these guys or not. You can't say, even if these protesters leave and go home, you're still going to pursue them and put sanctions on them just because they attended a protest. That's ridiculous. I mean, I think everybody can agree that that's just ridiculous. Noah Joseph says, how was your day, Tom? My day was actually really good. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of work around the house. I did a lot of cleaning, cut the grass, read the paper a little bit. It was a nice day. I finally had one day off, so took my time. Leda says, peaceful protesting should be okay, but in many countries it is not. Yeah, peaceful protesting should be protected under all circumstances. No matter if you lean right or left. I think that is a fundamental right that should be protected no matter what side you're on. Disney cast member says, Tom, I sent you a recommendation on IG. I'm gonna take a look at it. So here's my thought about that, Disney cast member. I was thinking about either just ordering something simple on like Home Depot and having it delivered, but then again, I do have a Home Depot very close to my house here. So if I could just go and pick something up. Oops, so now we have to hold on, everybody, stand by. All right, so we are going to have to navigate to a Twitch stream because the gimbal died. Hey, Mike S. Tom, potholes on Long Island Expressway are in season. I think they're in season 24/7, 365. There's nothing worse than hitting a pothole on the LIE. Hey, Dutchman says, Tom, Phoenix and metro cities place a tax on all rental property. Not sure if they do that in New York or Florida. I think they may do that. That's a good point. I have to look into that. I think it goes based upon the local municipality you're in. So for example, I know in Miami Beach, if you're going to use your property as, let's say, like an Airbnb, some places you're not allowed to do it at all. Some places they totally outlaw the entire thing. But they may put like an additional tax on that if you're going to use it. So here's what I know they do, right? So let's say if you move to Florida, and you qualify for the homestead exemption, which is about a 50% tax break on your property taxes. But one of the qualifications is you have to live here, I think, for at least 7 months out of the year, or you don't qualify for that tax break. Pacific Desert Raids is what's the Twitch? Oh, it's just a joke about my gimbal died, so the stream is going to be a little bit more shaky than usual. Hey, the RT440 says there is no problem with peaceful protesting, but you can't illegally block bridges and highways for weeks, causing millions of dollars in business losses. I think that's the point though, right? I think that's the point. The truckers were like, you guys made us work throughout the pandemic when everybody else had the luxury of working remotely and working home. But us truckers were the people who were providing those necessities for you guys. If it wasn't for the truckers, there'd be no food, there'd be no trade, there would be no commerce, there would be no economy. So to now impose all of these mandates on the very people that helped us get through this pandemic, I think is egregious. And this is coming from somebody that's had the absolute luxury to work remotely through the entire pandemic and actually quite literally double my net worth in a global pandemic. Not a lot of people have the luxury of doing that, right? People have to get up and go to work every day. And I think the elitist class in the world, the bankers, the people who work in tech, they forget that and they become desensitized. They're like, oh, everybody should be able to work from home. Everybody should be able to homeschool their kids. Well, that's not the reality, because not everybody can afford to have childcare at home, right? Some families, there's two parents working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. So I think that's sort of where I'm coming from. And I understand all sides and all points of view. But I think that a lot of people, especially if they've become, detached from the everyday middle-class working person's way of life, it's just sort of like everything goes way over their head. They're like, oh, never go out, stay inside. But okay, what about the restaurant workers? What about the guy who owns the pizza shop where he needs foot traffic for people to come in? It's a very, very convoluted and complex situation. But I don't think we should be mandating these truckers to do anything. That's just my view. But I respect everybody else's view. Hey, Mike S., good to see you. So here's the other thing that I'll say, right? If we're talking about the spread of COVID, I mean, Canada has done a fantastic job with vaccinations. Almost 90% of the entire country is fully vaccinated. So the argument of COVID is a big danger. It's not the argument. And if anything, these truckers are isolated in their cabs for 12 hours a day sometimes. They're not coming in contact with anybody. And many of the truckers who are in the protest, they're fully vaccinated, right? I'm fully vaccinated. I've been fully vaccinated pretty much since day one of this pandemic. But I don't agree with mandating things, because I think that's a very, very slippery slope. But it's sort of like Trudeau and a lot of the other politicians there are arguing something that's not even real, because they're like, we need to get people vaccinated. We need to get all Canadians vaccinated, when they've pretty much accomplished that goal and done a good job of doing so already, right? So they're jumping up and down saying nobody's vaccinated, everybody's anti-vax, when over 90% of the population of Canada already has the vaccine. So I really don't understand what they're arguing. It just seems like they're arguing for the sake of arguing. Hey, Dino's here. Good to see you, Dino. Leonardo says, Tom, in your opinion, what is the best place to eat a burger in the United States? It's this place on 70, I believe it's 78th Street and Collins Avenue in North Beach. So the easiest way to get there, if you're here, I would say, is to take the 3 bus to 72nd Street and Biscayne, transfer to the L, and that'll take you to 72nd and Collins. You walk up a couple blocks. That's the best burger place, or the best burger I've ever had in my life. And I think it's called Burgers and Shakes, if anybody wants to Google that. And it's in North Beach, Miami. So the closest town, I believe, is Surfside. So if you want to check that out, that is by far the best place I've ever been to in my entire life. I want to say 78th Street and Collins Avenue, but I'm not. I actually think that's right on the money. If you Google Burgers and Shakes, North Beach, Miami, you will see it. Bob says, I was sure Tom was going to say McDonald's. Somebody says Mr. Beast Burger. Has anybody tried that? Has anybody tried the Mr. Beast Burger? I wish I could read more of the comments, but it's very hard for me to do that right now. Hey, Paolo says, what time is it there? I believe, I'm not sure. Could we get a quick time check in the chat? I think it's probably about 10:30 at night. Wow, it's almost 11. That means we have to head back a little bit. Oh, so Sunshine After Rain, you have the link. Awesome. So everybody, we have a good piece of news. Monday is President's Day, so we're going to have a long weekend, thankfully. So hopefully everybody will be able to have a really good time on President's Day. Take some time off. Unfortunately, I am not off on President's Day. I actually have a rather big meeting where I'm going to be doing some traveling on Monday. But for everybody else in the chat, I hope you have a fantastic President's Day with you and your families. Sabrina Fair says Red Robin. I don't think I've ever been to a Red Robin before. Jamad says, anybody Indian in the chat? Yeah, we actually have a pretty big audience from India. So we have a lot of Indian viewers, so welcome everybody from India. XXX is family day here in Orlando. So we are going to walk past the KPMG building. And there was big news out of KPMG, I believe 2 weeks ago, in which we covered it on the stream, where KPMG is actually going to take a part of their treasury and invest it into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is pretty good news for the cryptocurrency space, as we're seeing more large corporations taking parts of their corporate treasury and investing it into cryptocurrencies. And I think we are going to see this continue. But next week, I believe on Tuesday, we will be doing a dedicated stream to Galaxy Digital Investments, which is Michael Novograt's new institutional onboarding firm for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So we will be doing that stream probably on Tuesday, because you know, a lot of my friends that work for some of the major investment banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they're getting recruited rather aggressively from firms like Galaxy Digital Investments and other cryptocurrency exchanges and firms, because they're headhunting a lot of talent that is familiar with dealing with institutional clientele. So if you work in wealth management at a major investment bank, if you work in sales and trading, where you're selling and moving different securities around for your institutional clients, you're probably going to be getting a lot of opportunities from different cryptocurrency startups as they try to build out a true and defined platform for institutional onboarding. Chris Beeman, good to see you. Here we have Lucid Motors. Hey, Mike S. is Tom. What about All American Burger in Massapequa? That place is fantastic. Love All American. There's nothing like going to All American after a nice summer day at Jones Beach. I think the Long Island natives in the chat knows what I'm talking about. Either you go to Jones Beach, Tobay, something like that. So we're gonna walk back now, but if you guys enjoyed the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Hey, Ren1018, good to see you too, my friend. Hope everything is well in your neck of the woods. Marcus Banks, good to see you. Sabrina Fair says, I can't afford the Hamptons, neither can I. I think the only way now it's possible to afford the Hamptons is if you're like a Jeff Bezos. Or something of that nature. Yeah, I never understood that, but it's very popular here to make the cars excessively noisy. Hey, Thomas's first time watching your channel. Thank you for joining, Thomas. We appreciate it. So for those of you that are new, we go live about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami, Florida. We walk around, we talk about the financial markets and really anything we want. Paul Stein says, when is the best time of year to visit New York City? It depends. If you love the hot weather, I would say the summer. There's a lot of cool different things to do. But then again, I would say the fall, because you could walk around Central Park and it's going to be amazing with all the leaves changing colors and stuff like that. Yeah, Penelope says motorcycles as well. Definitely true. Sean L says the holidays. Yeah, the holidays could be up there for sure. The only drawdown about the holidays is that there's so many tourists in the city, and sometimes it gets a little bit too crowded. I think we'll just make the I was about to say the train, but I think we'll just make the bus. I think we'll just make it. Yeah, Pacific Desert Raid says, Tom, Miami is getting more expensive than Los Angeles. I think Miami is now more expensive than New York and LA. Yeah, Abe blesses Tom. This is one of the reasons why tourists tend to travel to New York in the summer. I mean, I would say if you travel to New York in the summer, I would definitely probably try to stay on Long Island. Because if you stay on Long Island, you could go to the beach and you could take the train to the city every night. You get the best of both worlds. Bob, pretty close, pretty close. You know, maybe next time we'll have to take the Metro Mover. Hey, Bob's, my vacation home is in the North Shore. Very cool. Marcus, I don't think Miami's going to be like the new New York or new LA. I think Miami's just going to be Miami, but I think people are going to continue to move here to start businesses and things like that. It's a very business-friendly environment. So I think that's why a lot of startups such as myself have chosen to start their businesses here. Setauket. But I love both cities. Those are my two favorite places on earth. Number one being New York, and then number two being Miami, Florida. We got a Doge. So check out the moon over here. Yesterday was actually better than this. Disney cast member says Shiba Inu. Hey, Charlie's Adventures says Natasha says hi. What's up, Natasha? Good to see you. Paul Stein says the house next to mine sold for $1.2 million. Wow. So now we are back outside the W Hotel. And you can see the Aston Martin building in the background too. So guys, how horrible is the camera work without the gimbal? Or is it pretty good? I'm trying to hold the phone as steady as I can. Hey, Tech Explorers NYC is here. Good to see you, Tech Explorers NYC. Beautiful day today in Miami. It's about 80 degrees almost all day, but towards the end of the day, it started to rain for probably about an hour and a half. Somebody says, how's the rent occupancy in Florida? I think near full. One of the interesting things, and we were talking about this the other day on the stream, is that New York City, the average median rent in New York surpassed $3,400 for the first time ever in history. But the vacancy rates are actually have increased, and the new leases have actually increased. So what you're seeing is probably due to the very, very strict eviction mandates, or I should say, not eviction mandates. You guys know what I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm holding this phone. My arm is about to fall off. But essentially, the landlords are now very, very scared in New York of getting stiffed. So what they're doing is they're making the requirements to rent even a one-bedroom apartment so strict. You know, 80 times the rent. You have to have nearly a perfect credit score. So what this has done, it's done exactly the opposite of what the government wanted to happen, right? What it's doing is it's creating anybody who has a very good, high-paying job. They're able to qualify for an apartment. But people who don't make 80 times the rent and don't have good credit scores, now there's zero wiggle room. So in New York, you're seeing prices go up, but there's actually pretty decent amount of supply. So landlords would actually rather sit on their properties vacant than have squatters in there. So really kind of bizarre situation we have going on in New York. It looks like some big event is coming out. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Oh, but speaking of events, everybody, I wanted to just give a quick update on the channel. I apologize, I can't read the comments right now. But we will be covering, we do have a press pass to the Bitcoin 2022 conference here in Miami. So we will be front row when Michael Saylor is doing his keynote speech. So Michael Saylor is the CEO and founder of MicroStrategy, which is an enterprise software company. So we will be right there live streaming the entire interview. Also, Max Kaiser. We will be front row, dead center, live streaming the Max Kaiser interview. And I also believe Andrew Yang will be at the Bitcoin 2022 conference, as well as the Winklevoss twins. So we will be live, I believe it is April 9th or April 6th or April 9th, live streaming all of the keynote speakers. So if you guys want to check that out and have firsthand access to all of those keynote speakers, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And we will also be writing 2 dedicated behind the street newsletters covering everything that went on at the Bitcoin 2022 conference. So I'll be doing an in-depth analysis of Max Kaiser's speech. I'll be doing an in-depth analysis of Andrew Yang as well as Michael Saylor's. So please join us for that, everybody. Yeah, lady says, Andrew Yang, love hearing him speak. Hey, Manthony18 says, keep up the good content, Tom. Thank you so much. Jared says, Yang Gang. Wow, Sunshine, New York says, my rent went up recently as well. Moratorium, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, everybody, we will call it a night because my arm is about to fall off here. I'm juggling a million things in my hand. But guys, I really wanted to say thank you for joining tonight. It's been a blast. It's been a good time talking with each and every one of you tonight. I think we had good, productive conversation. I learned a lot. So I want to say thank you, everybody. And also a big, massive thank you to everybody that signed up to the Behind the Street newsletter. We have now surpassed 500 readers, 500 weekly readers on the free financial newsletter. So thanks everybody, it really does mean a lot to me. So if you want to sign up, you can type !news, N-E-W-S in the chat, where Nightbot will drop a link where you can sign up for free and join us over there Behind the Street. Thank you everybody for joining. Barry Burst, James Tiger, appreciate it. All of our moderators, Sunshine After Rain, Photos from Around New York, Penelope, Dino, Abe Blessed. Appreciate it, Abe. Pacific Desert Raid, Q-Biz, Sunshine New York, Andy, thank you. Andy is joining us from Korea. Good to see you. Laytha, thanks so much for joining. Roy S, Q-Biz, Emilio J, Photos from Around New York, and everybody else. Irelis, Melee, Scott, thank you for joining. Disney cast member, the one and only, appreciate it. Everybody have a fantastic Sunday. Also, have a great, relaxing President's Day on Monday. And to the mighty bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look, and I'll see everybody right back here tomorrow. Before I go, we will be streaming from a very familiar location tomorrow. Let's just put it that way. So I'll leave you off with that. I'll see you in the next one.